Coming up on Hoge Jahns, we are live after the Bears win again and are in first place in middle November. Sounds pretty good. We're going to break it all down. Bears' big win over the Vikings. Hoge Jahns starts right now. What's up? Welcome in. Your first place, Chicago Bears, Adam Johns.
How about that? First place.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eagles.
Yeah, you aware of this whole Eagles Bears?
I am. My
thing?
son has told me about it a few times, that there's an agreement amongst the fans until the day after Thanksgiving.
Right, when they play each other. And Vic Fangio does what he's doing so well right now to the Chicago Bears. We're a couple games away from that, though. For those that are not aware, the Bears are now 3-0 against the NFC East. The Eagles are 3-0 against the NFC North. So the fan bases have been uniting together. And now that pretty much ends because they've taken care of their business against each other's rivals, and they can decide the NFC East /North championship on Black Friday on Amazon Prime in a game that'll be broadcasted to the entire world, which is really cool.
That usually means there's going to be a lot of good defensive football play, a few offensive highlights, but maybe Caleb Williams can deliver a couple there.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing as we welcome you in on a Monday morning. Well, welcome to those of you watching live. We appreciate you being here on YouTube. If you can do us a favor, and shout out to Fred in Switzerland. Man, I love hearing when we get people from all over the world and country. It says, you guys do a great job. Love your work. So nice to see the Bears winning. But they're taking at least 2 weeks off my life every game. Tear down.
There's someone else in here from Denmark.
Yeah,
I see. Emil?
But Fred, if you think about it, like if they go on to win the Super Bowl, and I don't know what that adds up to, like 24, almost a year off your life in exchange for winning the Super Bowl, like that's probably worth it.
The Super Bowl might take a year off your life itself.
Right. Well,
that entire week, especially if you're going to try to go.
Yeah. Emails from Denmark says, thanks for all the good stuff you guys do. One of the biggest NFL podcast hosts in Denmark, and is a Vikings fan. Always hate on the Bears. Can't wait for that show tomorrow. So he's actually a Vikings fan tuning in.
Okay.
Hey, you're welcome here. We appreciate it. Miguel's in Mexico, as we are all over the world on this Monday morning. Appreciate everybody watching. Just do us a favor. Please hit that like button and subscribe. A lot of people that jump in here on these Monday shows aren't actually subscribed to the channel. So if you like what you see in here, please hit that subscribe button. Please help us grow the channel. We've been doing this for a long, long time. Season 11 of this show, Hoge Jahns here. I believe this is only the second time the Bears have been in first place in November in the history of this show.
I was going to mention that. Like, we don't get to say first place Chicago Bears quite often. So the only time we have a monumental podcast of this morning.
We might say it in jest, like in week 1 after they start 1-0. But no, 10 games into the season, 7-3. What's remarkable, Johns, and obviously this is all in flux, but with the loss last night, the Detroit Lions actually fell completely out of the top 7 seeds, and they would not be in the playoffs as of today. Now, they've played one less game than the 49ers, who are 7-4 ahead of them. But the same thing can be said about the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC. Who would have thought on November 17th that the official standings I'm looking at here on the NFL website, the Kansas City Chiefs, Baltimore Ravens, and Detroit Lions are all on the outside looking in?
Well, the Baltimore Ravens, I feel like, are going. They haven't lost in a bit, so that's kind of changing. But the Chiefs and the Lions is something to watch. How about like Dan Campbell permanent. Like I don't want to go off on this tangent. I think this is for another podcast, but just quickly,
let's do it. Yeah.
like Dan Campbell taking over play calling duties for the rest of the season. Like that is a storyline that is part of Chicago here because the play caller is in Chicago here. They have a problem up there in Detroit. Something's not working offensively. I know Vic Fangio is Vic Fangio. He had a Vic Fangio-like day against them last night on Sunday Night Football, but still, something is not clicking without Ben Johnson in Detroit.
Without a doubt. And on the other hand, I think I made this joke on last week's show. It was all nice when Dan Campbell took over the play calling against the terrible Washington Commanders. Looked a lot different going up against Vic Fangio last night. Yeah. So that'll be a storyline that is obviously not going away. And I imagine if we were doing a Lions podcast this morning, that's all we would be talking about is Jared Goff and his struggles. By the way, someone made a great point on Twitter. I want to give that guy a shout out. Where was that?
Oh, the tweet that you referenced last night, where last night's game or yesterday's game against the Vikings felt like Bears-Rams from 2018.
Yes, Shaq. Not Shaquille O'Neal, but I am Shaq24 on Twitter. Responded to me and said that game was so reminiscent of Bears-Rams in 2018, which makes a lot of sense. Jared Goff going up against Vic Fangio, really struggling to figure things out, just looking all out of sorts that entire game. I think that's a great comp. Of course, the interesting thing about that game was that the Patriots went on to beat the Rams in the Super Bowl that year, and Bill Belichick basically stole Vic Fangio's defense for one game, took everything the Bears did in that game, put it in the Super Bowl, ran all kinds of stuff they hadn't run all season, and it totally confused Sean McVay and Jared Goff, and the Patriots won. But yeah, I think that's that is a lot what that looked like last night in that Lions-Eagles game.
Can we start with some likes?
Sure, you want to jump in?
I really like that the Chicago Bears, and I wrote about this in allchgo.com. They have new heroes every single week. I don't care if they're winning ugly anymore. I don't care if you're having heart attacks out there. I'm sorry, I really don't. You know what I mean?
Heart attacks are encouraged this season.
It's exciting football. I like exciting football. This is the Bears' brand of football. This is their identity. But I really like that they have new heroes emerge every single week in these wild games. Like Braggs did a good job pointing it out in CHGO last night. Like Josh Blackwell, Jake Moody, Colston Loveland. Now you have Devin Duvernay. Of course, you have Caleb Williams against the New York Giants, but they have new heroes, new players stepping up in big moments every single week to help deliver victories. That's their identity right now.
Yeah. Different
players stepping up to deliver wins.
No, it's a great point. They do, I think in a weird way, there's some Venn diagram that also crosses over into that's also why they're inconsistent sometimes. If you can pick me up here, I'm losing my voice, but you know what I'm saying? It's a good thing though.
Yeah, I think a lot of their inconsistencies sometimes is that you have a new head coach, new first-year head coach with a second-year quarterback that is still learning and finding his way, and he has to get through all the ups and downs that come with it, and that is fine. I think you have a lot of injuries on the defensive side of the football, and that leads to a lot of different maneuvering for their defensive coordinators. So, if I'm going to start listing reasons for the inconsistencies, those are probably number one and number two. Young quarterback, a lot of defensive injuries. But I don't know. That's I call it culture if you want. We could go down that road if you really want to. I think Hoge is dying on me, but I like that the Bears have different game balls being handed out every single week. Whether it's Colston Loveland rumbling for 58 yards in Cincinnati, Josh Blackwell again. Josh Blackwell made a key block on Devin Duvernay's return. I think he's had a kind of an up and down season in special teams overall, but making big plays in key moments. I think everybody's right. Hoge needs some RC Cola. to get through this podcast this morning. Is he back?
I'm back.
You need that quick
Dude,
swig of RC Cola.
My wife and I have been like sick since August. I'm not even kidding. And not like sick, but like have had this, like you can hear in my throat right now, like nagging cough, like post-nasal drip thing going on forever. And every once in a while it attacks me while I'm doing a live show. Which, if you think about how many live shows I do a week, the fact that this has only happened twice since August is actually a pretty good accomplishment. But every once in a while, it's just like a little tickle in my throat and it's gone.
My worst one was on Sports Talk Live, the old show with David Kaplan. And they had to take me off camera and just have the other three guys just talk because I was coughing so bad. They muted my mic.
That's what you guys just did to me, which was good.
Yeah, Steve brought up a mint to help, I don't know, lozenge my throat, a lozenge to get things going. But get those fluids going, Adam Hoge. You got to have your coffee in the morning.
Oh, I had the coffee. Actually, you know what's in here is this is just hot water with lemon and honey.
Yeah.
So
it's supposed to be good for the
That's very good for digestion as well.
Well,
we're taking care of multiple things.
Yeah.
Well, now if Hoge's leaving the camera again, we know what else is going on.
Johnny Sweat says Hoge got
the pipes are moving.
Johnny Sweat says Hoge got to break down a shaky field goal hold last night and transcended into heaven.
I saw that too. You had the football on your knee and you're spinning it.
That was hard to do on my knee. Oh, yeah, if this was not still not back. This had to happen on a live show. Couldn't have just been one we record, the other two per week.
Take a break, go blow your nose and chug some lemon.
Someone said, welcome to the Hoge Jahns show.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared to do this thing for the full hour, Adam.
Careful. Braggs will hijack this thing in 2 seconds if I die. Yeah. He's probably already trying to hack into the StreamYard on the back end. All right, let me give you my first like. So the Bears, this is not a shock to anybody, but you got to kind of really think about how amazing it is. The Bears lead the league in takeaways.
Yep.
They lead the league in interceptions. The top, if you look at the interception leaders in football right now, individually.
This is a good stat.
Yeah. Kevin Byard leads the league with 5. In second place is Tremaine Edmonds with 4. Tied with Deshaun Wright with 4. And then there's another player, I'm forgetting who it is, who also has 4. I think on the Jaguars, right?
Yeah, they're up there in takeaways as well.
So you have 3 players in the top 2 in takeaways. Bears have 15 interceptions on the season, and that is with Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon, your 2 best defensive backs, your 2 highest paid defensive backs, barely playing this season. That's insane.
Can we just say this is a real thing now? Where I think the debate about takeaways is it's never sustainable. You can't count on them, and I always understand that. But here the Bears are halfway through the season. They lead the league in interceptions, total takeaways, and turnover differential. This is who the Bears are, everybody. Sure, some game it could be 1, some game it could be none, but then you have a game where they have 3. It's how they're being coached as well. Like all those, we heard it from Matt Eberflus all the way back to Lovie Smith, the importance of takeaways. But this staff preaches as well. They don't maybe talk about it as openly as the previous regime, but if you go to practice, they have a whole period devoted on Thursdays to taking the ball away and also protecting the football. That's why we share those clips of the Bears offensive players running through the gauntlet there, running through the chute. But on the other side of the field, where the defensive players are, it's 3 different stations of taking the ball away. They preach it, they coach it, and they're delivering it. The players are on Sundays.
At what point do you move these defensive backs to wide receiver?
How many drops did you count?
I kid. But seriously,
two really big ones. One by Luther Burden and one by DJ Moore. One by Durham Smythe.
Durham had so that's 3. And then DJ was very close to having a second one. I mean, he did a great job of somehow managing to squeeze that thing between his legs. I was rewatching. what did Tom Brady say? You were the one who covered Tom Brady yesterday. He's like, he squeezed it in the zero hole.
Something like that. Yeah.
We need to pull that drop. I was watching the condensed version last night, just as my rewatch, and so sometimes like that's out of context because it's just sort of like random things the color analyst says, and I'm like, what did he just say?
There were a lot of drops. The Vikings had their share, if not more than the Bears.
Well, that's a whole different conversation, but I think it is relevant a little bit to the Bears because J.J. McCarthy isn't going anywhere, and is in this division, and it was in Caleb Williams' draft class. If I'm in Minnesota right now, I'm worried. Like, I know it's early, and he's barely played any football.
But that's like, if we're gonna give Caleb Williams like the full year with Ben Johnson, then let's give J.J. McCarthy the full year with Kevin O'Connell.
I get it, but yes, that's 100% true. However, like, I kind of reminds me of Bryce Young a couple years ago as a rookie, like where it doesn't look right. Like and now here he is. Yesterday he set the Carolina Panthers single game passing record, broke Cam Newton's record, almost threw for 500 yards. Of course, that's after 2 games of playing horrible. So 2 things can be true. J.J. McCarthy obviously needs a lot more playing time and a lot more reps and a lot more time here. And I would also be worried if I'm a Vikings fan based on how bad it actually looks. I mean, some of these throws aren't even close, Johns.
I know. I watched the game. I'm just saying, like, if you're like I think there was a debate. Like, it's kind of crazy what the algorithm feeds you sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like it was Vikings fans who were crashing out after the loss, but also defending J.J. McCarthy as like analyst Richard Sherman, Chris Carter. Like, the criticisms have mounted. I'm just at a place with Caleb Williams is just let's let this play out. And I think maybe the Vikings conversation might have to get there because I don't know. It looked pretty good in that last couple of minutes to delivering them the win.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. There was a single like total like wow throw though. I don't know. I like he obviously needs more time. I don't know. Caleb's had his frustrating moments. He's never looked that bad to me. So, and nor should he. He's the number 1 overall pick. J.J. McCarthy was 10th. So, or 10th, 11th.
Yeah, there's also a few quarterbacks take him before him.
Right. So, well, we'll continue to watch that. Let's see. I have a bunch of notes here and questions. So, well, you asked me off air. Let's start with this because you asked me off air right before we started because I tweeted this. And sometimes tweets can be taken out of context a little bit. I did tweet. I did tweet not Ben Johnson's best day. Now, that's all relative. Ben Johnson has had mostly good days. So the difference between me saying, Ben Johnson's not having his greatest game here and, on a Matt Eberflus scale, it's not like I was saying he was having an awful day. And I saw that Allen Robinson, former Bears wide receiver, very fairly responded to my tweet saying, hey, Brian Flores is pretty good too.
Yeah.
And 100%, that's part of the matchup. I guess I felt John's like Flores got the best of Johnson more times than not yesterday. And that's fine. I talk about this all the time. Look, on any given play, one coordinator is going to be right. One's going to be wrong. Well, one's going to win the rep. One's not going to. You can't bat 1,000 as a coordinator. I thought they were a little too pass happy early. So that was one of the things that I, was like, all right, like, can we establish the run here a little bit quicker? The moment, if I'm going to get pretty specific, that I was just more confused than anything, early 4th quarter, Bears are up 16-10. This ends up being the drive that Cairo Santos misses the field goal. If you watch that drive, Ben finally committed to the run. And DeAndre Swift in particular was rolling. That was the drive where he's getting like 7 yards every carry. They're moving
You're
the
talking
chain.
about when they start running to the left a lot behind Theo Benedict and Joe Thuney.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of those were counters. Some of them were designed that way, but they were rolling. So then they get to a first down, like on the edge of field goal range. And look, I'm not going to criticize them going play action after all that, because that's the whole point, right? You're trying to set up play action with a bunch of good runs. I mean, that's your offense. That's your identity. I can't get too upset about it. I do think there are times, and what was that game earlier this season where they called like 14 straight runs? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like there are times where just keep sticking to it. They can't stop you. Just keep going. So they call play action. And it's a check down to Durham Smythe. So that was one of my questions coming out of the game too. Like I like Durham Smythe. I think he's been actually been kind of underrated on this team this year. But 3 targets, the number 81 in this game. Okay. I mean, it just seemed a little confusing. And that moment when you're running the ball as well as you were, to have a play action ends up, okay, fine, whatever. I'll give him a pass. Like that was just good job by the Vikings playing defense. They didn't bite on your play action, whatever. So now you go second down. Guess what happens? 8-yard run. Just DeAndre Swift again, just ripping off 7-8-yard runs over and over and over again. So you get in the 3rd and short. Why are we putting Tyson Bagent back out there? Like on a decoy? And honestly, that wasn't even the biggest problem of the play. But sometimes this happens when you get gimmicky. Andrew Van Ginkel's just completely unblocked. Like something, I don't know what. Only the coaches are going to know who missed their assignment or what went wrong there. But when you get cute sometimes, you're going to pay the price. And you already ran the Tyson Bagent decoy, run the ball up the middle thing based off the play you ran in Cincinnati a couple weeks ago, baby daddy. Great. To do it again in a moment where it just really felt like, Johns, you line up, you run the ball straight, you move the chains. That's where I think that was the moment where I tweeted that. Not Ben Johnson's best day. Then to me, it felt like football karma too, that you missed the field goal after that. Like it's obviously Cairo's fault, but I even said on our live feed, because we were doing a live watch along, as that ball was being snapped, I go, it's coming here.
So you just wanted them to stick with the straight old power plays, counters, whatever, to DeAndre Swift to the left?
Yes, the 4th quarter, you literally could run the game out. Just, they can't stop you. Keep running the ball, get in the safer field goal range, get your 3 points, go up 9. It just, to me, that moment didn't call for, let's get gimmicky. Like I said, I can live with the play action on first down. That's your offense. It didn't work out. Then you rip off an 8-yard run. Okay, you're back on schedule. I did not think that was the moment to go Tyson Bagent on the field, gimmicky play.
See, I didn't even think it was that gimmicky, because how many times do you see the fake end around and the running back is still getting the ball? It's all about deception and freezing the defender. So I understand the injection of Tyson Bagent in the situation where hopefully maybe you're freezing a safety. Maybe the safety is going to stick with this coverage a little bit longer or not come up in the box because you're worried about the double pass. But I don't know. I didn't even have a problem with the Travis Homer one. I watched it a couple times. If Jonah Jackson doesn't get blown up there a little bit, like that play is about to pop. And honestly, if that face mask penalty doesn't happen,
yeah, they should have called it. No question.
Yes. It's slow down Travis Homer, because in front of him, beyond the face mask, there's a lot of space. Like there's space developing, I should say, in front of him. But the missed face mask. All right. So when you tweeted that was the instance. It was the Tyson Bagent on the field for the second time, fake end around play.
And don't get me wrong, I am all for that type of stuff. And I loved when they ran it earlier in the game where he comes on as the decoy and then you just run it. Like that's plays on plays. You're taking a play you ran 2 weeks ago, reimagining it this week. It's successful. I just think there's also times where it's okay to just be old school football. Line up, put Cole Kmet in the backfield, have your offensive linemen move the line of scrimmage, move those chains, get going. That's it. And again, I'm not sitting here like killing Ben Johnson today. You won the game. You're 7-3. He's doing an amazing job. As good as he's been as an offensive coordinator, I think he's been even better as a head coach turning this thing around. And that is ultimately what we spent so much time talking about last January. Leader of men. Can you do both? He has passed that test with flying colors. Not every game is going to be an A+ as a play caller. I just didn't think this was his best game.
Yeah. Well, I think that's one of those things. I think evaluating play calling is something where you just need like this game against Brian Flores. I imagine there was so many checks at the line of scrimmage. Like I felt like Brian Flores was blitzing a lot of them first down, 1st and 10. He's sending 6. He's getting after you. Like Durham Smythe was injected into the game because I think they use him to fullback a little bit. Like you watch that final carry for DeAndre Swift. Who's the fullback on that play? Number 81. Yes. Yeah. So maybe that's why some of the checkdowns are out there. Maybe he's blocking, releasing, and stuff. But I think a further watch will reveal a little bit more.
All right, we need to take a first time out. We got a lot more likes and dislikes. Your voicemails too. Katie's been working on those. There's a rumor going around that the pastor is back with another sermon. So that's in there. Katie, can we, before we hit the break, can you put that comment up from Spain? I think it was from Jonathan that was just up on the screen.
Yeah.
He was saying that he's looking at Ola from Spain. So we've had a bunch of countries covered today. Says, can't wait to welcome you guys next year. I know Hoge would prefer another destination, but I'm pretty sure he'll enjoy it around here. Thanks for the amazing job, Adams. Bear down.
Does Jonathan
that's not
know
true,
something?
Jonathan. I've been to Spain, and I like Spain, and I am looking forward to going there, and I hope that what you're talking about is true. Well, the thinking, Johns, is that the two teams that have marketing rights in Spain are the Bears and the Dolphins, and the Dolphins played there yesterday. First game in Madrid. And so the Bears would theoretically be next, and it would be their year to have that extra international game. We'll see.
Who asked us about the Bears playing in Dublin? Didn't someone bring that up to us in the conversation somewhere?
I don't know. But I think they'd have to be the road team because they don't actually have the marketing rights in Dublin. I would obviously love to go to Ireland too, but I spent my only time in Dublin was when was I rerouted there or just super late and missed my connection to London? It was one of those two things, and I was hunting down my bag in Ireland. That's my only.
I've been to Dublin. I will promise you, if the Bears are playing in Ireland, it'll happen in Spain as well. But if Ireland is the choice, I don't care if they have marketing rights or not. Chicago is going to take over that stadium.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to both trips. I'm all for it. And unrelated, but sort of related to Ireland. I don't know who needs to hear this, but House of Guinness on Netflix is outstanding. It's a great show. People should check it out. All right, we're going to take a quick time out. We'll come back. More likes and dislikes from the Bears win over the Vikings. But first,
our friends at Sunnyside Dispensary are here to elevate your football season, just like Devin Duvernay did in Minneapolis yesterday. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free shopping. Wherever you are in Illinois, Sunnyside has a location for you. They have spots as far south as Champaign, as far north as South Beloit. Stop in the store nearest you for expert guidance from their staff. You just have to visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off. That's 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO. That's HICHGO at checkout to qualify. For returning customers, use code CHGO50. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Dispensary. Bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders.
And as you know, one touchdown can change everything. It sure did yesterday. Of course, one kickoff can change everything too. Right back at you, Minnesota. The crowd, the momentum, the game itself, it never gets old. Feel that same rush with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, where every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. With DraftKings Sportsbook, all the action is in your hands. First touchdown, anytime TD, live bets, every play, every snap, every game matters. When there's something on the line, every drive feels bigger, every moment more intense, and every trip to the end zone could mean a win for you. And the best part, new customers bet just $5 right now. And if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. When your team hits the end zone, you could hit the payout. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Hoge and Jahns. That's code Hoge and Jahns. Bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, Johnsy, more likes and dislikes. I got a bunch of green, a bunch of red in my notebook.
Give us one.
Yeah,
go ahead.
The touchdown run, Kyle Monungai's touchdown run, was a beautiful run play. I mean, it was so fun to watch. You got Colson Loveland pinning down, and then Cole Kmet and Jonah Jackson pulling from the right side. And they just sort of like, it's almost like middle return. They just sort of cross, and it opens up this wide open hole. And Tom Brady even said on the broadcast, he's like, yeah, at that point, nobody even wants the contact. And Harrison Smith just kind of like olays Kyle Monungai right in the end zone. It was a great play. It is so refreshing to see a good offensive line with a good run scheme. It's really fun to watch. It's been a while since I think the Bears have really had this. And I think also that feeds into my frustration I was talking about in the last segment, where like sometimes just line up and run one of those bread and butter run plays and just move the chains, please.
I have a story. So to me, this starts with coaching, specifically the head coach. When your head coach, the offensive play caller, wants a run game that produces violence, that produces pancakes, that produces this type of attitude, this is what you get. You eventually, this is what comes to be. So I have a story coming out. Here's a tease, and I'll see HGO, I think, for Wednesday, just detailing this. Ben Johnson's place in this violent run game that you just detailed so well on the goal line there and other plays. Use the code Johns, sign up. I think you'll all enjoy it. The last run of the game, watch Jonah Jackson. He buries his guy. Absolutely buries his guy. So I like that. I like that when the Bears needed to get in field goal range the most, the play call for Ben Johnson was a run to the right behind Darnell Wright, behind Jonah Jackson, behind Durham Smythe, behind Colson Loveland, and even DJ Moore got involved. And they got 7 yards and got Cairo Santos closer for his game-winning field goal. I love that. That's the identity of the Chicago Bears right now, in my opinion. That type of downhill, violent running. And you saw it when the Bears needed it the most.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. A dislike, a play I had actually forgotten about until I went back and watched it, but it was a play in the first half that sometimes in games like this, you look back on certain plays and you wonder if the entire game could have been different. Remember when Caleb fumbled the handoff? It was such a weird, it was almost like he tried to pull it back at the last second.
Yeah.
It was bizarre. And then the ball's kicking around, and thank goodness they had Roma Dunze, who apparently was like coming in the plug and, as one of the run blockers on the play, because there's no reason one of your best wide receivers should be standing in the backfield in a position where he can go run down the football that's being kicked towards the other end zone. So a little bit of luck there that you had a guy in the right place at the right time to fall on that. And then credit to the Bears, because on the very next play, Caleb drops back and throws a dart to Rome, and they get all the way
in the middle.
It was 2nd and 25. They picked up 24, and they have a 3rd and 1. They end up moving the chain. So they overcame it. But boy, that if they don't get that ball and Minnesota's in the red zone and they score there, and all of a sudden you're losing, you don't know if that's a completely different game.
See, I imagine in film today that Rome Odunze, number 15, like great hustle, great awareness, great fight. Like that's what he's being praised for. But I'm interested to hear like what Ben Johnson has to say about the breakdown in that play, because like DeAndre Swift is doing what he's doing, but there is there's a safety or a linebacker already in the backfield about to make a TFL.
Again, unblocked, I think.
Yeah.
The same thing that happened on the 3rd down I was talking about earlier.
I think that's a good example too of Brian Flores winning some of his plays against Ben Johnson. They must have blitzed. What are the final stats? I've seen him as high as 78%. I know Kevin last night had like 67% of the time. Maybe that was just the dropbacks against Caleb Williams, but there were some run blitzes in there, like early down blitzes being sent to the Chicago Bears offense yesterday.
That's why I liked, believe it or not, I liked the tweet from Greg Braggs this morning. He's like, the Bears are 7-3 and they're not even good yet. With a GIF that says you are all effed.
All right. See, I would disagree with that a little bit. The Bears are a good team. You cannot not be 7-3 and not be considered a good team.
I know, but they still, the amount of red on my notebook, and you know what I appreciate too is like,
but
Ben,
that's the NFL.
It is, but Ben appreciates that, or acknowledges that, I should say, in like literally the second sentence of his press conference yesterday. Like, he's the one who called it ugly. It's not the TV analysts. I'm sure they're doing it too. Oh, the Bears are winning ugly. The Bears are winning ugly. Well, you can still be good and win ugly.
Yes, thank you. Good teams win ugly.
The Packers are doing it right now too.
Bad teams lose very ugly. Let's not forget last season and many other seasons that we've covered.
Yeah, it's not like that Lions-Eagles game last night was pretty. If you appreciate amazing Fangio defense, maybe you would call it that.
But even the Chiefs-Broncos game wasn't exactly full of electric offensive football.
Boy, Bo Nix is hard to figure out, isn't he? Because that pass he threw to set up the field goal at the end was just beautiful. But it's like he throws 5 ugly passes for every beautiful pass he throws. It's so bizarre.
I think a lot of quarterbacks are tough to figure out. Truthfully. You know why? Because a lot of them are still young. A lot of the ones we're talking about today, Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, they're all in their second seasons. They're all playing for exceptional play callers. Maybe that's part of the evaluation. That's, I don't know, skewing things a bit, but sometimes you just got to let them play. Let the kids play.
Yeah. All right, you got another one?
I like the day that the tight ends had.
Oh, Cole was a beast yesterday.
I really do, yes. Yeah, well, running the ball, I think he knocked the guy out on his first reception. Colston Loveland was at 3rd and 15, 3rd and 16, turning that into a first down, running through Josh Metellus and Harrison Smith.
He's starting in the clutch Loveland.
Clutch Loveland.
That was right after a drop, too. That was DJ's drop. The very next play was what Loveland did.
He made up for it. Durham Smythe obviously had targets. People think that's inexplicable. I don't mind it, to be honest with you. I like his blocking, especially on that final run for the Bears. Like, if he doesn't do his job, it's a tougher, longer field goal for Cairo Santos. So I think he deserves some credit there. But I like that the tight ends were involved in the passing game, and they are running hard. They're tough to bring down. Get them going. Get those yak yardage going.
So I want to bring up Cairo Santos He's now 16 for 20 on the season. So I understand some of the frustration. I do get it. At the same time, the last 2 NFC North victories the Bears have, he kicked a walk-off field goal. Clutch at Lambeau, clutch in Minnesota. Both of them on the road at tough places to play. So I get that it's not perfect right now and it can be better, but he still went 4 for 5 yesterday and made a 54-yarder.
Yeah.
So not every field goal is going to go in. I know everybody wants it to go in. Kickers, do your job. But he still made a 54-yard field goal. He still made a walk-off, in which, to me, the hold wasn't. Look, the laces were good enough. You need to make the field goal. So I'm not trying to make it like he did something amazing, but it's still a tough moment. And not everything on the operation was perfect. He makes it. I just think we're a long way away from running off Cairo Santos at this point, which our guy Greg Braggs did try to do in the third quarter yesterday. I think he fired him twice.
Talk about living in the moment. I like Ben Johnson's defense of Cairo Santos after the game. Literally bringing up the percentages. Bringing up the numbers. The numbers say he's a good kicker. And there's really no debating that. Sometimes it doesn't look as pretty as some of these kickers who absolutely crush the ball, but you know what? So what? They're going in right now. I'm not getting Cody Parkey vibes. I feel like there's some fear of that, especially with the playoffs coming in the conversation right now, but I'm not getting that whatsoever.
Yeah. And here's also the remarkable thing about Cairo, because it's no one can deny that he doesn't have the strong. I mean, he does not have the strongest leg in the NFL. He's one of the weaker legs, probably among starting kickers. That's true. On the other hand, 2022, he goes 4 for 5 from 50 plus. 2023, he goes 7 of 8 from 50 plus. 2024, he's 8 of 9. 8 of 9. This year, he's 3 of 5. So it's he might be limited and not kicking 58, 59, 60 yarders like some of these other kickers, but more times than not, when he lines up from deep, he makes it. And I would also, of those misses, I have to go back and check, because it doesn't say right here what I'm looking at, how many of those were actually blocked. Which some people might say, oh, well, he doesn't kick it high enough. Well, you still got to protect.
Yeah. I'm not worried about Cairo.
I'm not either.
What else you got in the red there? Give me some of the red.
Oh, you want some negativity? Okay.
Let's get through it together.
All right, I'll keep it here. Special teams. Blackwell's kick catch interference can't happen. Just can't happen. The Price punt return that set up the Vikings' first field
can't
goal.
happen.
Or first touchdown, I should say. The biggest issue for that, Johns, to me, is the Vikings are in a punt block. So for those that might not realize, so when you're in punt return, you basically have 3 options. Now you have a bunch of plays within the 3 options, but the 3 options are to go try to block the kick, in which case you're not blocking up your return because you're going for the kick. So you're basically letting those guys release after they try to block you. There's that transition from offense, defense to offense if you're on punt return. Or you try to set up a return, which means you're not going after the kick. You're actually just trying to hold those guys up the line of scrimmage, not release the Bears from getting out. You try to set up your blocks, try to get a big return. Or you play safe. You basically play defense. You might be worried about a fake, whatever. It might be fake zone. The Vikings are in a punt block on that. They're trying to come after the kick. More times than not, that means fair catch. And your returner knows that. Your returner knows what the call is. Your gunners have to win their one-on-ones.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah,
that's on the gunners.
They both got blocked
because you still got to block when they're coming after your kick, you got to stay in there and block. Now, maybe one guy can get out. Usually you're hoping you can get, so maybe you can get 3-on-2 down there from a coverage standpoint. But to me, man, when you're not getting viced, which means double teamed as a gunner, got to get down there and force the fair catch. That's what we say. Force the fair catch when they come after the kick. So, because oftentimes, if the gunners don't do that and you get past that first line because the rest of the team's back there trying to block the punt or block the blockers coming after your punt, it can lead to some big returns. So that was that to me, that was not good.
Let me ask you something, Mr. Special Teams Coach, if I can call you that. It feels like this season in the NFL, there's been, let's call it, an extraordinary amount of special teams plays that are consequential in games, like early on in the season.
Across the league.
Yes. Yeah. Is that, am I right in saying that?
I think you are, and I think that's what the league wants.
It wants the third phase to be exciting again. Like, I think, but it's not just like the kickoff where there's not a lot of kickoff return touchdowns, but the way that the kickers are approaching it is differently now. Like, there's so much different strategy being like employed a couple of years into the new kickoff rules, but it's also like punt blocks and like field goal blocks. Those were a trend early on in the season. I just feel like this season there's been so many defining special teams plays across the league.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's good. I mean, it is called football. I mean, the plays where the ball's being kicked should matter. And as we always talk about with our kids, like, to me, one of the most stressful things about being a special teams coach is how many games can swing on a special teams play.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's just a lot of anxiety involved in it because you just look at that punt return, and it felt like a ticking time bomb. I think I said that on our live watch along as the ball's being kicked. Like, Price is a good returner, and it just felt like if you kept kicking to him, and I'm not blaming the decision to kick to him. I was putting that more on the offense, the amount of punts. If you're how many punts did the Bears? I don't have it in front of me.
Hold on. I have it. Hold on.
Yeah, whatever the amount ended up being, it was just too many. And it felt like if you're going to punt to him that many times, he's going to break one eventually.
Torrey Taylor had 6 punts for 286 yards.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
I would have liked that to be 3 or 4 punts, ideally. So I put that on the offense, But once you are punting, you got to execute. They didn't do it on that play. So, yeah, we don't have to keep talking about special. I will give you one other ones, though. One of my one of my likes was, do you notice Cairo and the dirty kicks yesterday and the kickoffs?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I mentioned. Like, it's how, it's part of the strategy.
And it worked on the first one because they ended up getting the touchback at the 20, which there have probably only been a handful of those all season across the league. But that if you can create one of those, that's perfect.
What did you make of Caleb's game?
Yeah, we haven't talked much about him.
No, let's get into it before the voicemails here.
So,
like, I didn't like his deep ball accuracy early in the game.
No.
And I think why I don't like it, like, you're allowed to miss plays, but early in the game, those are the plays that they've practiced a bunch. Like, what?
Yeah, and what I didn't like about it, John's starting to interrupt, just like they didn't look like they were practiced, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It didn't look like,
and they were.
Rhythm, boom. It looked like I'm rushed. I'm just tossing this ball up there and hoping it lands. You know the difference between that? Like, if you're scheming up a shot play early on in the game, you would hope that it's in time, on rhythm, right at the back, back foot hits, boom. It just looked kind of chaotic to me.
Yeah. Tom Brady early on the game, I wrote this down. A little too much juice by these young quarterbacks. Yeah. That was his comment early on the game, which, obviously a lot of misses early on in the game.
I don't usually get through the all 22, all the dropbacks until Monday night. So I'm not quite there yet. I said on the post game yesterday that I was probably as confused off the live TV copy as I've been all season on how well Caleb actually played. I thought Ben Johnson felt the same way. He got asked about.
I was going to bring up his answer.
He's just straight. I gotta watch tape. And I didn't view that. Sometimes I hear a coach say that, and it's really translation of he didn't play well. I didn't get that. I just think he was genuinely not sure, which is how I felt after the game. I will tell you one thing. This will be my last dislike because I have it highlighted in yellow. And I will say this without a doubt. I don't need to watch the tape. Stop taking so many hits, dude. There was at least 3 hits yesterday that were completely unnecessary. Get the ball out faster. Throw it away faster. The one especially where he was like way in the backfield, all the way over to the right, and he ended up throwing it out of bounds. He got popped for no reason on that. And I think his head hit the turf on his way down. You got to stop doing that.
Well, there's a couple
pointing it out.
Yeah, and there's a couple of times he's getting up and you could see that he's feeling it.
Those hits add up, man, over the course of a season. You got to stop doing that.
At the same time, I think I don't like the completion percentage. I do want to hear what Ben Johnson has to say later today and Wednesday about what worked and what didn't work against Brian Flores. I do think you have to give Brian Flores some credit for dialing up nonstop pressure, although I do feel like the offensive line won their fair share of those blitzes where it looked like some of those dropbacks. We're protected. Maybe no one's open in the back end or Caleb's got to go through things. So I want to hear what he has to say later on. But I like that the Bears are continuously winning the turnover battle. And this is where Caleb Williams comes into the conversation. Yes, he had that one bad fumble that Roma Dunze helped clean up for him. But at the same time, the Bears have the best turnover differential in the league because their quarterback is not turning the ball over at a high rate. If I'm going to criticize J.J. McCarthy for anything, it's that one to Kevin Byard. It's that underthrow to Nashawn Wright. Those have to be eliminated. And Caleb Williams, for the most part, has eliminated those from his games. It's why the Bears are winning, because they're not turning the ball over every single week.
That reminded me of one more. Grady Jarrett deserves a like because his pressure forced that interception to Byard and forced that other one later in the game that should have been picked off, that where Tyreek had it and Brisker kind of broke it up on him.
Collided. I thought the Bears defense overall, they deserve a like. Other than that last touchdown drive. What did it end with? McCarthy to Addison, right? They were solid all game. They really were.
And I do think that is fair to point out, though, and I know that they hold themselves to that same standard, but it's become kind of a theme this season that the D has not been able to close it out at the end. Now, that seems unfair in a game in which the opponent only had 3 points at the start of the fourth quarter, but at the end, when you make that decision to punt, we haven't talked about that decision yet, by the way. I could keep going and going, but when you make that decision to punt, you're expecting your defense to close out the game. And the Vikings just drove down there way too easy in that moment. Now, the good news was it was so easy that it left too much time on the clock, and you were able to go down and still win the game. But it happened against the Bengals. It's happened before this season. They weren't able to close it out against the Vikings in week 1. It's not all their fault, obviously. And I think overall they did play a good game and deserve a like. But at some point, you want your defense to be able to shut the door.
That's where I'll bring up complimentary football. Let's turn those 4 field goals from Cairo Santos into some touchdowns. And then we're having a different story.
I agree.
Like 3 points in the middle of the third quarter or fourth quarter or whatever it was, that's good football. I thought the Bears defense, they didn't sack J.J. McCarthy, but they did a good job of stopping the run enough, getting them into third down situations, which we know the Bears defense excels at. The Vikings were what? 3 out of 11 on third downs. So the Bears' third down percentage has improved even more. They're a top 5 third down team. They did everything they could to get in those third down situations where they know they could get off the field, especially against a young quarterback. So I know what you're saying. get off the field. Like J.J. McCarthy had a great play on 4th down there where like Dennis Allen actually sent the house at him, and he had the nice quick completion in front of Nick McLeod. There's the Bears defense again playing with your second backups and succeeding, but give me some better complementary football.
Well, that's the next step for this team. You bury these teams. The offense lets them hang around way too long.
You can't bury teams if you're not scoring points.
Right, but you've had the opportunity to bury the Bengals, bury the Saints, bury the Vikings now, and they don't. And then it's up to the defense at the end, and in the Bengals and the Vikings game, they can't get the stop there late. But I agree with you. Don't put them in that position and that's the next step for this team. When you have these leads, when you get into these double-digit leads, score again. Make it a 3-possession game. So I think they actually did have a 3-possession game against the Bengals. Maybe not quite, but all right, we need to take one more time out. We got your voicemails. Do not go anywhere. The voicemails are always great. Those are coming up, but first. All right, collectors, are you ready to level up your collection, or maybe you just want to get started trading cards? This is pretty cool. Arena Club's original slab packs bring the thrill of ripping packs combined with the power to buy, sell, and trade all in one place. You think about the traditional trading card cycle. You buy a box, you rip open the packs, you pulled a few valuable cards, then you send them off for grading. Weeks later, you finally get them back, and only then you can sell them to the shop or online, buy another box, start the process all over again. That sounds like a lot because it is. Arena Club has flipped that entire cycle on its head. What used to take weeks now happens in minutes, all on their digital platform. They've taken the long grind of physical card trading and turned it into instant digital gratification. So check it out now. Arena Club slab packs. Whether you're buying, selling, trading, grading, or ripping packs, Arena Club is the safest, most trusted in the game. Right now, you can get 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/CHGO. It's arenaclub.com/CHGO and use code CHGO.
Fall always feels like a reset between back to school, busier routines, shorter days. And I know finding time can be tough through all that. That's why I love Factor. Their chef prep, dietitian approved meals make it easy to stay on track and enjoy something comforting and delicious no matter how hectic the season gets. My sons love these. The steak, there's seafood options, salmon and shrimp, all sorts of different types of steaks, by the way. Like, got to get them. Trust me. Any time of day, after school, late at night, we all know how kids like to eat at the worst times. My boys love them. So go to factormeals.com. Eat smart at factormeals.com/CHGO50 off and use code CHGO50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code CHGO50 off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase.
All right, let's jump into it. Your voicemails. Got a couple super chats on the way out as well. But your voicemail line, as always, save it. 224-725-3046. 224-725-3046. Your voicemails before, during, after every single game. Our producer, Katie Langen, packages them all together. The best of the voicemails from Week 11. Bears win over the Vikings.
Hello?
Do you know who this is?
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody!
The Hoge Jahns voicemail. The Hoge Jahns voicemail line.
Believe it or not, George isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep.
Got any questions or comments about the Bears? Give the guys a call before, after, or even during the game.
Go Bears!
Hoge Jahns, babe. It's Bob Dabrowski here calling in from Minnesota in this beautiful stadium that Kevin Warren is going to build an exact replica of on the lakefront, but with a retractable roof, so we still get Bears weather. Boys, it's 0-0 here, early goings, but I have no fear in my mind, no fear in my heart, no fear whatsoever, because we have Caleb Williams got ice in his veins. I don't care what happens. The Vikings could go up 25-0 by halftime. Unlikely, but still, Bears come back. Let's go, Bears. Bear down, Chicago Bears.
Hoge Jahns, 15 minutes before kick. This time last year, we're talking about draft picks. This time, we're now talking about the playoffs. I don't care what happens from here on out. This has been a great season. The future looks bright. Bear down.
Hey, this is Pastor Kevin. I decided this week to sneak my prediction for the Bears-Vikings game into my sermon. So we'll see if I'm a prophet. Here goes. Go Bears.
Of course, the Bears get rid of the dogs, and the Bears, 24 Bears, just overrun the Vikings. So the 14 Viking towns lost to the Bears. You know, the Vikings lost the Bears 14-24. Okay, there we go.
What's up, Hoge Jahns? Here we go. Another tough game looking like. Tony Collin from Traverse City. Longtime listener, love your show. And I'm here with my boy Henry, just turned 2 years old. Henry, can you say, go Bears?
Go Bears!
Or let's say, go Bears.
Go Bears!
Hoge Jahns, back with another instant overreaction. Or maybe not. Are we ready to just say that Nashawn Wright is a good player and should start? I feel like we're there.
Oh, quick question. Why are the special teams absolute ass?
Neil from Arizona here. Just want to say Aaron Jones just got his touchdown in the fourth quarter, and the defense needs to pick it up because it's starting to feel like week one comeback, and I don't like that feeling.
Oh my gosh, Cairo Santos missed it.
What round did the Vikings draft their punter in?
This team's going to give me a heart attack, but I'm glad we're winning. Bear down.
Johnsy, I love you, and I know you're going to say, enjoy this, but no. We should have won this game so easy.
Another epic win. Another great victory. Again, I eat my words on saying Duvernay shouldn't return. He can do whatever he wants. Bear down.
Devin Duvernay and Cairo Santos, I promise I will never say a bad thing about you ever again. At least the rest of this week. Bear down.
Hi, boys. It's the Mama Bear, and I'm just wondering if this keeps up, are Bears fans even going to be able to get health insurance? I mean, I literally, Papa Bear almost passed out. He was dizzy on that last field goal. Oh, my gosh. I just can't. But the NFC standings are my current screensaver. Woohoo!
All right, Hoge Jahns, it is the Aussie Bear here, right from Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. 7-3, baby. And I'm just going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy it. We're going to keep moving on. We're going to keep finding ways to win. Bear the F down. Let's go right the way from Australia. Come on, Bears.
Hey, Bears fans, B-Man here. I keep saying it. Good teams find ways to win, and the Bears keep winning. We are a playoff team. Bear down!
This is Pastor Kevin. I am not a prophet.
Oh my gosh, dude, how come every single game is like a heartbreak game that we have to come back? Good, better, best, cardiac arrest.
We beat the Vikings, girls.
Go, Bears!
Repeat after me. Good, better, best.
Good, better, best.
Never let it rest.
Never let it rest.
So your good gets better.
So your good gets better.
And your better gets best. Bears on 3. 1, 2, 3.
I had to write that one down. Good, better, best, cardiac arrest. That's awesome.
And to answer the girls' question, yes, they're good now.
Pastor Kevin, my kind of pastor. Love that. We got to keep that going. And then I have to laugh at the Cairo Santos Duvernay comments, because if you didn't see our live watch along, and I encourage you, if you have a way to in the future, because I think we're going to keep doing these, have a second screen going with our crew. We always try to give you the time so you can sync it up if you want to kind of watch with us, but not only did Greg Braggs fire Cairo Santos after the miss, but earlier in the game, he was he kind of wasn't really watching, but he was listening, and he knew it was a kickoff. and it didn't go great. And so he just started like yelling at Devin Duvernay and was like, I've had enough of this guy, like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Greg, that was Roshan Johnson who returned that one. But that's the passion and the frustration fans are feeling with special teams sometimes right now. But in the end, it was Devin Duvernay setting up Cairo Santos for the game winner. And somehow on every national show I had on and continue to have this morning, there is some graphic that says Caleb Williams' 5th game-winning drive of the season. He didn't throw a pass.
Yes, no. I like that everyone can chuckle about that. So here's my church story. Speaking of Pastor Kevin, he's not my pastor, but here's my church story. So I missed yesterday's game because my son made his first confirmation, not his first communion, his confirmation. So the confirmation was at 2 p.m. So I watched the first half, go to the confirmation, and being the good man I am, I turn off my phone during the service, right? But I'm so like I'm interested. I know I'm pretty sure the guy sitting next to me got up and walked out of the game. Now that I like piece this day together, like the timing of it's like
walked out of church.
Walked out of church to go finish the game and came back. I am almost absolute certain. I don't know who he was, but I'm pretty sure he did it. But I know others in the back of church were like having those like wedding like videos where they're all kind of following the game through each other as the confirmation is going on. So I lose my patience at one point where I go to my wife. I go, hey, just check the score for me, will you? This is when everyone's actually in line for the confirmation. My son has gone through, so now I'm just sitting there as well. The other 50 or 60 kids go through. So my wife checks. It's 16-10 with 1 minute and 10 seconds left. I'm like, oh wow, this is good. We timed it back as we got home and rewatched the game. Like the play that came after that moment that we checked was the J.J. McCarthy touchdown to Jordan Addison. So I had no idea until I rewatched the game later. Everyone's stopping me in the aisle afterwards. Did you see what's going on? So I pull up the play-by-play and go through things. And I see Devin Duvernay's 56-yard return?
Yeah, I think so.
So I'll just say there were a lot of Bears fans in church yesterday keeping track, and maybe some fist pumps, a collective fist pump that went up around 3 o'clock as everyone kind of celebrated it.
So, well, I mean, congrats on the confirmation. And I still think we need to, somebody who's, grew up Catholic and went to Catholic grade school and high school. I still think, we need to work on this a little. Pope Bob's in charge now. We need to. I don't know what's up with all the Sunday stuff. I mean, Sunday's obviously for football, so we gotta work on our schedule. We used to go. St. Clement would have a Saturday evening mass. So, when there was a conflict with the Bears, we would just go on Saturday. At least that's what I remember. Papa Hoge's probably watching and can confirm it. I like how everybody's asking Pastor Kevin where his church is and do they stream the services live?
He is in Des Moines, Iowa.
That's what he says.
Lighthouse. In Des Moines, Iowa.
Okay. I think we have a couple supers on the way out, and I got to get downtown to go do CHGO Bears, which will be live at 1 o'clock today with Lance Briggs with us, as always, on Mondays. We also have Bears After Dark tonight. Got you covered on CHGO all day on these Bears Mondays. There he is, Papa Hoge, $5 super chat. I haven't seen this much winning since the 1983 White Sox. Johns, they were known as the winning ugly White Sox.
Winning ugly is still winning.
It is still winning.
We should maybe put that on a shirt.
And I think it's completely fine for this year's Bears team. I never know how to say this one.
We'll just say ace for base.
Yeah, ace, $5. Is Ben Johnson being good better for the Bears long term than Caleb being good?
I think they work hand in hand.
That just makes my brain hurt on a Monday. I need more coffee to answer that question. Here's what I know is if we end up going down a road where we're having a Belichick versus Brady conversation, you're in a very good place.
Oh, is that what the question's about?
No, but we're not even near that. But my point is, if we're already talking about like, which one's more important, the head coach or the quarterback? Like, I'll say this:
it's different than Brady and Belichick because that was a defensive coach,
right?
They're like separate entities. I think I'm interjecting here, but like Caleb and Ben Johnson are like together in this.
I don't mean to cop out on the answer, but I think one of the two is fine. Like if you told me right now one of the two of them, whichever one it is, becomes a Hall of Famer, whether it's a Hall of Fame coach or a Hall of Fame quarterback, that means you won at least a Super Bowl and probably had a long extended period of success. Because you can have it both ways, right? You can have like John Harbaugh's had multiple quarterbacks. Mike Tomlin's now had multiple quarterbacks. So most of his high success was with Roethlisberger, obviously. Whereas, dynasty wise, but I guess that's really the answer. It's both. If you want to have what the Patriots had or what the Chiefs have, you have the head coach and the quarterback together.
Yeah.
It's not one or the other.
And in the most ideal world, you want Reed Mahomes. You want Peyton and Breeze. Right? That's what you want. Like that type of pairing that is long lasting. Like what you don't want is Sean McVay. Well, okay. You would probably want this because it's still good football, but hear me out. Sean McVay, Jared Goff, good for a little bit, make a run of the Super Bowl, then you divorce. Jared Goff gets traded. Matthew Stafford comes in. Sean McVay gets his Super Bowl with a different quarterback. Like, it's not the worst road to take, but I think the most ideal one that you would want is the Reed, Mahomes, Breeze, and Peyton.
If you had to pick one, though, I don't know if everybody would agree with me on this, but I think I'd go head coach. For the reason that your coach can't get injured. Look what's going on in Cincy right now. I mean, Joe Burrow is awesome. But he gets hurt. He can't stay healthy. He goes down. And I don't know the coaching. I think Zach Taylor's fine, but I don't think it's to the level of,
Well, I'll give you two names. Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay.
All right. Look, Shanahan's surviving with, I think, two mediocre quarterbacks. Purdy's probably slightly above mediocre, but he's good. He's fine. But he certainly doesn't have one of these, for sure franchise studs. So ideally you want both, though. If I had to pick between the two, it's a good question. So I guess maybe I did have the brain capacity.
Well, this goes to Crimson's point in here. Well, yes, you're taking Sean McVay over Jared Goff. This is the point we're making. It's Sean McVay. I think didn't he win with like Baker Mayfield for a little bit? Was Sam Darnold in there? And then obviously Matthew Stafford, is having his best season ever at the age of, how old is Matthew Stafford now? Like 40? Matthew Stafford's been in the league forever.
Is he 40 yet? He's up there. He's like, I want to say he's like 39. 37.
37. Wow.
That makes sense. Yeah. He came out. Yeah. All right. Daniel Trump closes us out here. $10. Who plays where if Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon come back this week? I'll be surprised if they're back.
Yeah.
But how about whenever they come back? And that was in the voicemails too. Regardless of what happens here with Deshaun Wright, what a cool story. I mean, for him to go back to Minnesota, where the guy played like 3 snaps last year or whatever it is, and for him to get an interception, can be second in the league right now, tied with his teammate. It's in interceptions. It's a cool story. Look, I think right now with all these guys, like, I don't know if the health issues are going to stop. Tyreek Stevenson's banged up. He didn't finish the game yesterday. Now, he talked afterwards, which is good, but what's his status this week? The good news is you have depth. You found a Nashawn Wright that can plug the hole for what's turned out to be pretty much most of the season. Obviously, when Jalen Johnson comes back, he's on the field and he's your number one corner. When Kyler Gordon comes back, I think he's on the field and your nickelback. But I think you also find a way to keep CJ Gardner-Johnson involved.
I wouldn't be surprised if they ease Jalen Johnson back into this. Like,
that makes sense.
Seeing him walk through the locker room, like, there's some fitness things that need to get going. I'm not saying he's out of shape, but like his legs have to get stronger again because of the atrophy and what's going on with his injury situation. So ease him into this. Let's not rush him into it. Maybe have a third down role or something, but these are good problems to have. And I think Dennis Allen will welcome these. Al Harris has to be extremely excited about the prospect of having his secondary at full strength for the first time really all season.
Yeah. Orange Cassidy says, good problem to have. It is a good problem to have. And it's, I think, Ryan Poles and Dennis Allen kind of do both deserve credit for the depth. I mean, Nashawn Wright's been a great pickup. Some people were claiming that the Bears should let go of Kevin Byard to save some cap space in the offseason. Leads the league in interceptions. CJ Gardner-Johnson in the middle of the season as a pickup. I still wonder if there's an expiration date on that, but for right now, it's going well. So we'll keep it going. All right, John Z, fun show. Thank you for everybody watching, listening, leaving voicemails, participating, however you do, super chats, comments. It's fun being here on Mondays with you live on YouTube. Of course, everybody listening to podcasts later as well. Please rate and review. Hit that like button and subscribe on the way out. It is 100% free. The only thing it does is help us grow this channel. So we appreciate those of you that are subscribed, and we'll hit that like button. We will be back Wednesday. One thing we did not talk about today, Aaron Rodgers and his health. He loves playing at Soldier Field. I imagine he's going to do everything he possibly can to play in that game Sunday if if he's cleared by the doctors to do so, even with the little broken bone in his wrist.
Yeah, we know he will. We've seen this play out.
Yeah. So thank you to Katie Lang in producing. We'll be back Wednesday with our midweek episode. Give you some numbers, update on Aaron Rodgers, Bears health as well. Make sure you're there. Talk to you on Wednesday.
See ya.